Welcome back everybody, and what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be going through the third part in my series of the British Army Soldiers Personal Kit. Okay then, third layer of the Soldiers Personal Kit. What I'm going to be talking about here then is the Bergen or rucksack, okay? Now, this is what you've got as a soldier as your home, your house. So this is what you live out of. So this is where all your bigger kit goes that you need to basically live day by day, week by week, when you're on exercises or on operations in various parts of the world. Okay then, so this is my Bergen, as we call it in the UK. A lot of Americans would call this a ruck, obviously short for rucksack. Now this type of Bergen then, this actual specific one, is a JJ's Jungle Bergen. I don't think these are still available. I think they've stopped making these now. They've moved across to another one called the Beast, which is similar, but it has zips on the sides here instead of these fixed side pouches. I far prefer this type here. It's got the low profile side pouches, which are still big enough to get quite a bit of stuff in, but without having those massive big PLC side pouches, which I find extend the Bergen way too big. And this is already a fairly wide Bergen. Now, a lot of our American viewers may notice that this looks slightly like an updated version of an Alice rucksack, which I think is pretty much an accurate description of what this is. It's a really nice rucksack. It's got all the external pouches you need for organising your kit, and it's also got one of the external frames, a 1606 frame, which is awesome because what it does is, as it says on the tin, it's a jungle rucksack, Jungle Bergen. This is for keeping it away from your back, so there's a little bit of airflow between the rucksack and your back, which helps prevent prickly heat in a jungle, which I've had, and it is absolutely horrible. It's nasty, nasty stuff. So this has got some really nicely padded straps. I had to add a sternum strap to it because it didn't have one with it, which was, I thought, was quite poor, but other than that, it's a very great design Bergen. It's got a nice hip pad there. Notice it hasn't got a waist strap on it. Now this is designed to be worn with belt kit, and this basically sits on top of your belt kit, which kind of acts as like a belt for it anyway. So you know, when you're using it in a tactical environment, you don't really need a waist strap anyway, to be fair. But as I said, nice sort of fairly low profile side pouches, and then you've got 3 organisational pouches on the back here as well. Now the current British Army Bergen, the Virtus, is pretty much a piece of crap, and I've had to redesign it a couple of times, and it's still not been very well accepted by the soldiers. And you know, a lot of guys are buying their own kit, and it's not cheap, but c'est la vie, you know. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to go through what I've got within my rucksack, my Bergen, and why I'm carrying it and what it's for. So going into the top flap then, the actual top bit here, first thing I've got is just a Ziploc bag. Okay, now that's for rubbish. It's basically a gash bag, so anything that you're carrying your rations and that, as you're using them, you put it away in the gash bag. It keeps it nice and tidy and stops all that crap from going inside your Bergen. Okay, next thing I've got is a small wash kit, very small and compact. Okay, and all I've really got in there, the main thing I'm looking for is looking after my teeth. Okay, so toothbrush, toothpaste, dental floss, and then in this side I've got some wet wipes, but to be honest, I wouldn't really use them too much in the field. It's more to do with cleaning my teeth, which is really important. If you don't clean your teeth for a few days, you're going to start knowing it, and you're going to get toothache after a while, and you're going to start, you know, causing problems. Next thing I've got in here is a small first aid kit and blister kit. Okay, so mainly sort of bumps, scratches and all that, you know. So I've got a few painkillers in there too, but also a fairly compact, nice little blister kit in there too. And I'll put it in a Tupperware box to keep it waterproof and to protect it. Okay, next thing up here then, just some toilet paper in a plastic bag. Again, needs to be waterproof. There's no point putting it in there if you're not going to waterproof it. Okay, that's it for the top flap. Side pouches then. All I've got in there is a whole load of rations. So even though these are fairly sort of compact pouches, you can get up to about 3 days worth of rations in each side pouch there. Okay, as long as you break them down, obviously you're not just going to ram them in the bags. You're going to take the boiling bags out, put your stuff in, leave out that stuff that you know you're not going to eat or drink or whatever. I'll go into these external pouches here first. Next one here then, going from left to right, is a water bottle. So another litre of water there. I've already got 2 litres of water in my fighting order. There's another litre there to replen it. If I was in a particularly hot environment, I'd be carrying more than that extra 1 litre as well. I'll probably be carrying one of the big American square water bottles. I think they're called a quart water bottle. Next thing along from there then is my cooking system. So I've got some gas. Obviously, if you're on operations, you may not be able to use gas. I have used it in Afghanistan and stuff. We managed to get hold of some, but you may have to use the issue cookers. But otherwise on exercise and stuff, it's nice if you can use gas. If you've got the option of using it, that is anyway. I've got a small tin. Now, I class this personally as a bit of a luxury item. I used to quite often just use my my metal mug to cook in and eat out of, but it's always nice if you're going to make like a bit of an all-in with noodles and stuff, to have a separate pot if you can actually spare the sort of space. And these are really lightweight, these Trangia tins, really lightweight. So yeah, I've just put that in a little bag just to keep it sort of nice and clean so it doesn't get covered in stuff. And then with that then I've got, that's an MSR pocket rocket in there, and a Trangia handle so you can pick up your tin without burning your fingers, and a small scrubbing cloth as well. And what I've got there, that's a bungee off a parachute, so you can just basically stop that handle from rattling around, keep all those things together, and there's no noise there at all. Next one along then, this is mainly brew kit in here. Yeah, so all your teas, coffees, sugar, all that sort of stuff. And what I've got there then, I've got a little Nalgene container full of powdered milk, because sometimes some of the stuff you get in the ration packs, it's manky, it must be out of date, I don't know. You're making a cup of tea and you're looking forward to it, and you chuck your powdered milk in and it goes all lumpy and crappy. So what I've learned is get your own stuff and you won't waste your water and waste your brew. So that's them 3 pouches covered. Going into, if I open up the top flap then, into this bit here. So this is the Basha Pouch, and it's good, I think it's a great idea to keep your Basha separate from everything else, because that's obviously going to get absolutely soaking wet. That's your protection from the rain. So if you've got that nice and separate, it's not going to get, you wouldn't want that going inside your main part of your Bergen. You see, that's fairly compact, that. Okay, so that's a Plat Attack Basha, and then what I've got attached to that is the TRC Jungle Knots. So these come in little bundles, these little mesh pouches, and they're basically pre-made jungle knots. You just pull them out like so, and they're a great way of rapidly getting your Bergen up. And I'm going to do a video on these at some point, okay? But yeah, that's all pre-prepped, so I don't have to tie my cord or my bungees on there. They're all ready to go, but obviously I'm just carrying spare cord just in case I need to elevate it at a separate point, but they're all good to go. So that's the whole of the outside covered. That's all the external pouches covered there. Going into the main compartment then, you see it's got the snow locks there to keep any snow or rain ingress out. Again, 100% really important, Bergen liner, okay? Waterproof rucksack liner is super important, especially in the UK. If you don't have this, everything is going to get wet at some point. Whether it's just from rain, whether it's from river crossings, whether you're falling in a river when you're crossing it, whatever. You need to keep the kit waterproof, because a Bergen's not going to do that on its own. First thing I've got on the top then is a pair of waterproof trousers. Now, I don't use these very often. I think these particular ones I've never actually worn, and I've had these about 10 years. So it's a just in case item more than anything. Powerheads don't really like wearing waterproof trousers, I've got to say, and you get hammered for it. So they've never actually been worn, that pair anyway. Next thing I've got then is my sleeping mat. This is an older version of a thermal rest. I've had this for years. It's not blue inside, that's just the case. It's actually like a brown on one side and green on the other. But an old, fairly robust bit of kit. The army issue ones I've found aren't particularly great, and I certainly wouldn't use a full-size foam sleeping pad. They're just ridiculous. They're too big and they're too flipping crappy. Okay, going into the Bergen War then, what I've got is a separate bag here. This is more for organising my kit rather than waterproofing it, but it does obviously cover that extra level of waterproofness. But going into here then, I've got one of the issue t-shirts. Then I've got a base layer. So, you know, that's just an extra bit of warmth on top of the warm jacket I'm carrying in my day sack. Then I've got 2 pairs of decent socks. And this is a pair of waterproof like Gore-Tex socks. So if you do get totally soaking, if your boots are wet, you could put those on with these and it'll help, you know, at least you're not putting your foot straight into wet boots, you know, whilst you're in your harbour area or whatever, it's helping dry your boots out a little bit. Again, haven't used them very often, but they are a godsend when you need them. The last thing in this little bag then, this is foot powder. So really important to look after your feet as a soldier, as an infantryman especially. If you don't look after your feet, then, you know, that's your mode of transport gone. And it will take you out, you know, out the game. You'll be done without them. So that's why, you know, spare socks, foot powder, very important. Okay then, main thing in the rucksack then is sleeping bag in a bivvy bag. So this is one of the American issue bivvy bags. Great thing about these then is they've got a zip on them, a full length zip. British Army bloody bivvy bags don't have any kind of opening system on them. It's literally just a bag, which will, you know, give you a slightly better level of waterproofness, but it's really awkward getting in and out of them, especially in the middle of the night, you know, no lights and stuff like that. I love these American ones. I swapped this with a Yank when I was over in Afghanistan. Love it. A little bit heavier than a British one, but a great bit of kit. It's got the old woodland camouflage pattern on the outside, which is pretty cool to be fair. The old 80s, 1980s camouflage pattern. And it's, as you can see there, my sleeping bag is prepped, it's ready to go inside the bivvy bag, so I'm not having to pull the sleeping bag out of a compression sack, you know, find where the head is in the dark, you know, might as well have your eyes shut in the woods, and then trying to fit it inside your bivvy bag and all that. This is good to go inside, ready to go. So you just pull it out, lay it down, and you can get in it, you know. That's everything within the Bergen. So you notice there then, I haven't got a load of crap in there. It's just the absolute essentials. Everyone knows once you've carried weight on your back, you know, and you've done a lot of mileage, you want to carry less, but it's a balance like everything in life, you know. Travel light, freeze your ass off at night, as the saying goes. Okay, so it's a balance between being uncomfortable, potentially not being able to sleep, or carrying too much weight, being nice and comfortable at night, but hanging out when you're actually on the road and, you know, moving, when you're flipping tabbing or rucking as the Americans call it. So fairly compact and small sets of kit there, but definitely enough in my opinion to keep you going for quite a long time. The only thing you'd need to replen is your food, your water, and, you know, potentially your socks at some point, but everything else, it's good to go. So then that's the third part of my series complete then. So that was me talking about your third layer, which is your rucksack, which is basically your home on your back, isn't it? As I said, it's a balance between being comfortable and not carrying too much, okay? So has anyone got any opinions, comments on anything I've covered there? I'll look forward to seeing what you've got to say. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. You know, it's a bit of an insight into, everyone's got a slightly different look at how they do things, how they carry things. That's how I did things for most of my time during the army, and it worked, okay? So look forward to your comments. Thanks for your subscriptions and your support. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Stay prepared.